What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes reporting for duty. We have a fun interview today. We're going to talk to Cub and Saint Swanson here, as Cub has a fight coming up against Billy Quarantillo, not too far in the distant. Cub Swanson, hey, man, what are you, Jim Miller or what? You won't go away. You just keep stacking up fights and longevity. Like, wow, like you're built. You have some great genes that you got from your family.
I do. Honestly, I get it from my Swedish side of the family that people don't realize, the Swanson side. Um, yeah, we just kind of age nicely, which is a blessing. I've been able to heal from a lot of my injuries I've had over my career and bounce back pretty well. So I'm still feeling really good. I'm still hanging with all the 20-year-olds, so I feel like it's been a long marathon, and I'm right there at the end. So just finish strong, have fun.
You just turned 41. And I remember when we would talk to you at 35 and we wondered about 40. Is it for you? Is it like you want to reach the end of a contract, or is it fight by fight, depending on how you feel? Like, what is your barometer in terms of knowing, like, this is the last one? Will you even know it until the fight's over?
I mean, it's kind of fight by fight, and yeah, I've been enjoying it, and you know, it's hard to walk away when you're still enjoying what you do, and it's funny because for the last couple of years, people walk up to me all the time and they're like, "Oh, hey, I'm a fan. You retired, right?" And I'm like, "No, I'm fighting in a couple months, but thanks." So
Hmm.
I've been getting a lot of that for a while. So it's like I get it. Okay, I'm old, yeah. Um, but I know
You're
I feel
durable.
like after my back surgery I had last year, I felt my last fight. I felt really good. I didn't get the win. I thought I had got it, but
The whole
everybody
world
was
did.
telling me how good I look. So
Yeah.
I just wanted it to just keep going, but the time is coming. It's close, and so yeah, I'm just enjoying the moment and taking it fight by fight.
There is one thing you do better than anyone else, and I call it playing with fire, right? Because I'm a Swanson fan. I'll usually put like a 25 bucks on you or whatever. And I know it sounds unprofessional, but what do we care? We're OGs. But you have your hands low, man, and you rely on your quickness, reaction time, head movement. And I'm like, oh, but it does make it exciting. Are you told that often in terms of like, what are you doing? Put them up or anything like that?
Yeah, people tell me all the time, and it always kind of bugs me because the reality is if my hands are up, I'm gonna move my head less. And I
Mm,
don't have big boxing gloves where I can block my whole head and cover. Like when I spar with 16s in a boxing gym and
hmm.
headgear, I'm like this and I'm blocking and having fun. But when I have MMA gloves that don't cover anything, my hands are down and I'm moving and I'm shifty and I'm trying to bait you to throw so I can counter. So there's a method to my madness. And yeah, so when people are like, "Oh, get your hands up," I'm always like, you don't show like you know that much about fighting. Um,
Oh man, you're clowning me.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just like people in general. It's that keeping your hands up. The mostly it's to block kicks. It's to keep it there.
Yeah.
And to be fair, in my fight, I got caught. I blocked the kick, and it caught me on the back of the head, and it dazed me in the first round, and that's kind of why I had a slow first round. I was a little bit dazed for a little while, and then I came back, and that's why I had a good second and third round.
Hmm. Your son was just there a second ago, and I was wondering, do you get some satisfaction that because of your longevity and durability, you've been able to fight in front of your kids? They pan to them and they're jumping up and down. It's one of the
Yeah.
coolest things. Um, did you ever take, I guess, that into consideration, like giving, them a memory? Because I know they're along for the ride.
Hmm.
Your wife is a great MMA wife. She knows the routine.
Hmm.
Fighter gets close to fight time, he's moody, he needs a space, but seems like you guys handle it well.
Yeah. It- I mean that question is just so deep for me. And I don't mind talking about it a little bit. I'll try not to get emotional and stuff, but my father passed away when I was a baby, so I don't. I grew up people telling me stories about my dad, and I was always like, okay, thank you, but it's like somebody I never met, so it was a
Mhm.
little strange. So I did all these cool things, and then towards the end of my career, I had kids, and then they were babies, and I'm like, man, I I don't want them to hear stories about me and not remember it. So then it became a motivation for me to want to do it long enough so they would remember and say, yeah, I remember my dad doing that. That's pretty cool. So that became my motivation. And yeah, so it was really important for me.
Another thing that I know is very important for you, Palm Springs, fighting in Palm Springs. Have we made any leeway since the last time we've talked? Have the matchmakers said anything? Anybody in the UFC brass about possibly going down there for something?
I had talked recently to some people in the UFC. I don't want to mention names, but they said that they had looked at the Palm Springs as a possible venue when they were looking at venues last year, and they said they passed. And I was like, okay, so I don't know what the reason was. Maybe they just didn't think it was big enough. Um, but I
Wait,
know
the
that
UFC passed or the
the
arena
the
passed?
UFC passed on the venue. Um, but I know that arena has done like record numbers, and it's like the Valley. They love when big things come, and I know whether I fought or I didn't fight. If the UFC comes there, they're gonna sell out. They could even have the prices pretty high, and people are gonna show up because um, they can get bored out there.
Hmm. There's a little thing called Coachella that sells out every year, right? That people
Exactly.
can fly
So
away from.
yeah, and that does just fine. So I people want an excuse to come to Palm Springs for a vacation, just like they do Vegas. So I know that, especially when the weather's nice, I think it would be a great venue to have a UFC, especially just a fight night, because I think it holds like 11,000, which is more of a fight night style than a big pay per view.
Mhm. Well, in looking, obviously your opponent is Billy Quarantillo, and when you look at your record and you look at the people you fought, I'd love to put it all together because I mean they everybody you fought has been really, really tough. Billy Quarantillo is, I think he's a little bit past one of these guys that we would say he's an up and comer. I think he's considered a pretty decent veteran at this point. What do you think of that challenge, right? As opposed to all these other fighters you've had in the past. Have you found yourself doing anything different? Is there anything that stands out about the guy for you?
No, I know that he's tough, he's gritty. He wants to be in the exciting fights, and he's been in a bunch of them. So I think that's what he wants. He wanted a fight like me, so he could go out there and have a big performance and something he could be proud of. That's the kind of fighter I think he is. He's getting up there in age. He's been around for a little bit. So I like the matchup. I kept getting told stop fighting the youngsters that are on their way up. And this is a guy that I think the last two opponents have been good opponents. They're guys that like to fight, but they've been around for a while. And and yeah, I think the fans appreciate it. And as far as studying him, I've watched a lot of tape. I'm sure there's tons of tape on me. I try to just focus on me, and I want to have a performance I can be happy about.
I was thinking earlier, I hate to always talk about when the career ends, but I had an idea because I was looking at some of the fighters that have actually had jobs with the UFC post their fighting career. And you've done so many different things within our fight game and through multiple generations of fighters. And now you're managing fighters. Like you've just been parts of so many different things. Would there ever be some kind of position at the UFC that could even be invented, but almost like a mentor of sorts of playing that role for fighters? Could you see yourself doing something like that?
I definitely do. All I want to do is kind of be around the sport, and I've thought about it for so long about what would I do after fighting, and that was a big moment once my manager passed away. You guys know that Kami was a big influence on me, and right away I ended up taking the Giga fight, and I lost that fight, and it really put me in a little bit of a place where I had to kind of reflect and think about what am I doing? What would he want from me? And um, I thought about it a bunch, and I kept thinking, okay, well, in between fights, I need to really focus on what I'm going to do after fighting in between fights, so that way I can continue enjoying the sport, continue evolving as a fighter, and have fun. And when I'm ready to walk away, I kind of have a running start. And so that's what I've been doing with the managing, the commentating, the coaching. I'm getting so busy. Like, honestly, fighting is like my fourth priority. And my whole career, it was my number one. But I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a coach, I'm a manager. And yeah, and then I'm a fighter. So for me to be able to keep doing all of this stuff at the same time and perform like I did makes me proud, that I'm able to show these guys, hey, look, you can put all this on your shoulders and still perform. It's just you need to believe in yourself. You need to do the right things and train smart. And yeah, as far as working for the UFC and being that kind of mentor of sorts, I would love that. I just know that I would probably have to move to Vegas if that were the case. And I don't know if I want my kids, uh, growing up there. I like it where I'm at in Orange County. They have good school. They have friends. So that's kind of why I'm doing it here.
That's what we used to say, and then we got pulled in over here. It's a little different than when we first came, but I saw somebody online kind of talk a little bit about the WEC. They need to bring back maybe doing another card or something. I've often said, look, when you get two fighters that have history in the WEC, at least let them wear the gloves, right? You got the
Yeah.
glove over there. Let them do that or something. There's got to be something WEC related that they could kind of do just to have fun, to make our sport fun again. You have any
Yeah.
ideas on that? Is there anything you can think of that would be fun, WEC wise?
I just think that a WEC card, like a throwback card, would be amazing. I know that I think we could still get Condit and Cowboy and Dominic and myself and Uriah. I think there's a handful of guys that we could get together on a card and have a fun fight. I think we're in the age. I think MMA has really helped fighting realize that you could fight, like technically past your prime. Or I mean, we're watching these YouTubers that have nowhere near as much skill as the top pros, but they want to see them fight, right? So people are just liking fights. And I think that we could put together a WEC card where these guys, uh, get to relive it one more time, and all the OG fans get to watch a WEC card. I think that would be amazing. We still have Joe Martinez around. We got all the things that we could do, but I think it's running out of time to be able to put that together.
Poirier says he has a couple fights left. Nick Diaz is fighting in a month or so, and I think Brittany Palmer can still fit into her WEC gear. I
Yeah.
like it. And I looked up the arena info while you and Goes were chatting, and I saw Cyndi Lauper, Mariah Carey, and I'm thinking, man, those are big artists, and the UFC turned them down, and they're having shows at the Apex, for crying out loud. And I started thinking, well, hold on a second, maybe I'm showing my age. They're more stars from the late 80s, early 90s. And then I see Justin Timberlake is going to be there in January. So if that arena is good enough for Justin Timberlake, they got to
Yeah,
be good enough for a UFC fight night. You got to go
I
call them people back at the UFC and go, you guys are tripping.
they've had everybody there already since it opened. I want to say Lady Gaga. They like big Hispanic groups. They've had WWE there already a couple times. They've had Monster Jam. Like they literally have had everyone I can think of there. So yeah, I don't know why they don't want to do it, but I'm sure it's possible. But I don't know of if I'll still be around then when they get around to it.
You can't tell us who told you that, though, so we can bug them.
It was pretty high at the top.
Yeah.
Because I recently, just so you guys know too, I find it funny. always forget to mention it, but I just signed a new multi-fight deal.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just
How many fights?
4 fights.
This is the first one?
Yeah.
Cool.
And you
Congrats.
intend to finish them all, or again, is it just like see how it goes?
It's fight by fight, but this would have been my last one. So I told them I didn't intend on like fighting out of my contract and going other places. I want to stay here. I think it's fitting. And so yeah, we did a new deal, and so yeah, it's fight by fight. But yeah, so
Man, that's
just thought
awesome.
I'd throw that out there. I hadn't said anything to anybody about it.
Congrats.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. Junkie Radio here with Saint Swanson and Cub Swanson. What's your favorite meal coming up on Thanksgiving? Let me ask you that.
Me, you know what?
I was actually talking to Saint.
Oh, okay, same.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving meal? What do you like the most about Thanksgiving?
You gotta sit up and speak up.
Turkey. You like stuffing, mashed potatoes,
What do you like to eat?
cranberry,
Yeah.
turkey. There you go. All right.
He's lying now. He eats tacos and cheeseburgers and ramen. What else? What else he like? Pasta. Yeah. They they're all picky. But they like steak. The boys like to eat steak.
Yeah,
Oh, there you
that's
go.
cool.
Yeah.
Will you get to indulge, Cub, during the holidays? Like, can you have even just a small plate, or are you like real strict?
I usually am pretty strict. I like, the same reason I have so many tattoos, I guess. I like to suffer. And I feel like the more I suffer, the more I sacrifice, the the more I'm ready to kick somebody's ass when it comes to fight night.
So you're not
So
like the guy that says, "I will have a small plate, but I'm just gonna do a second 5 mile run at night or something like to."
no, no. I may have a small plate, but it's always business as usual. So I usually don't celebrate birthdays and holidays and stuff like that during fight camp. But since having kids, it's been a little different. uh, like I said, I've had to make adjustments. I've had to, be different because they didn't choose that life, I did, and so I don't want to put that on them.
I see you didn't pass up the tequila on your birthday. I was on your gram earlier.
Yeah,
You're
well,
holding
it got sent to me. Luckily, my wife indulged. I took the picture.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I figured. I know. I'm just busting your chops.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I tequila mandala. They're always good to me. So I went to one of the restaurants that they are partners with, and they took care of me.
Very cool. All right. Well, it sounds like this won't be the last time we talk to you about a fight with this new contract that you just signed. Thank you for sharing the news here on Junkie Radio. Always great catching up with you. Great to see your son. I can't believe they were babies. What seemed like just a couple years ago, and now he's 6 years old.
Yeah.
So your family is growing, and looks like you're all enjoying it together. The ride.
Yeah, we are. It's crazy. Like maybe a couple weeks out, I stop, but for the most part, all camp. I get up at 7 in the morning, and me and Kenda get them ready for school, and it's all chaotic. And we get them ready, get them dressed, and we drive to the school. And we have to park across the street, and they're in kindergarten, so we have to walk them up. And then I come home, I get ready, I go train, back to back train sessions. I come home, eat something real quick, shower, and then it's time to go pick them up from school. And me and Kenda go, and I'm there. I'm heavily involved, taking them to soccer practice, doing all those things. So
Oh, are you an
yeah.
angry dad on the sideline?
Oh no, no,
No.
no.
I
I
took a
try to
leg kick
hold it
from you
in.
once. I don't think I'd want to take a leg kick from you at a soccer game.
No, man, I had a reality check for myself because the very first jujitsu tournament. Royal no, one of the boys got taken down in the tournament. They're 4 years old, and I'm sitting there watching, and no big deal, he got taken down, and the other some guy behind me, I'm assuming is the kid's dad's, like, armbar, and he's like, break his arm. And I
Dang.
just kind of turned around like, dude, they're 4 years old. And I just had to like tell myself, listen, you're gonna be doing this for a while. Just take a breath and just, because everyone's assuming that I'm gonna be the jerk, but I feel like
But did you say something to him, or that was just you talking to yourself internally?
no, I just looked at him and he smiled at me, and I just kind of turned back around and was like, just let it go.
Break your arm, jeez.
Yeah, I'm just
Crazy.
like, man, okay, this is what it's gonna be like. So
That's crazy. All right. Well, again, thanks for the time today. We wish you the best of luck with the remaining weeks you have left in camp. It's on December 14th, it looks like, here in Tampa against Billy Q. Cub Swanson versus Billy Q. Looks like you guys are headed for the main card. So yeah, you got about a month left, and we wish you the best, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, and don't forget to come by. Come check us out at the gym if you guys
check
have
out the
time.
Bloodline team, and you got a lot of young guns out there. And shout out to Richie Miranda.
Yeah, if we get if all goes well, we'll have 3 LFA champions on our roster. So yeah, we're doing pretty good right now. We got all these up and comers. It's all the style of training we're doing. I'm telling you, I believe that with all the things I've learned along the way, that I'm helping the next generation train smarter and harder.
Yeah, I want to make a quick pitch for your guys. I've seen them fight at LFA, and I'm seeing some talent on Dana White Contender Series, and I don't know what it's like. They need you on one or the other or whatever, but it looks like the ones that are graduating to the UFC from that show, your guys are at that level. So I don't know if they need to go that way or if they still sign them from, because being an LFA main eventer and a champion was a big thing back in the day. And I don't know, because they created their own show, if that's just what that's like or whatever. But I think you're doing a great job grooming all them guys.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I bug Sean and Mick, often about the guys, and I tell them like, hey, I'm just letting you. I just want you to know they're there, they're available, they're training hard, and we'll keep taking fights, and let us know when you want them, and they'll be ready.
Yeah, put it up. If you put it on a tweet, make sure you tag us, and we'll keep retweeting.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you, man. Take care. Talk to you
soon.
soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.